These are both very simple fugue tunes. They're each one page. They each set one 4-line stanza of text. But they remind me so much of the little tunes of Daniel Reed, one of the post best represented in Connecticut, where I'm from. We all know the song, for example, its name is escaping me right now, one that we never sang in Sacred Heart because of the last line. Stafford. Which it's a common thing to say about that song. It's too bad about the words because the song is beautiful. I mean, that song, from just a perspective of putting the notes together, is a perfect little gem of craftsmanship by Daniel Reed. These two tunes at the top of this column are tunes that show that Parris had every detail of skill that Daniel Reed had. There again, these just beautiful miniatures that, as a person who occasionally attempts to write Sacred Heart music, shape note music, they make me upset because they're so tiny and so perfect. And does anybody want to lead one of these songs up at the top? Go for it. Which one?
219.
219. Should we sing 197? The answer is yes, we should. Who's going to lead 197? Next question.
I'll try.
Thank you, Sasha. Okay. So this song is another one of these very simple one-stanza fugue tunes. It's a little bit longer in the composition than the tune we've just sung, but it's equally simple. And just like the last tune could very easily have been written by Daniel Reed or William Billings, you would never confuse that for a gospel song. This song is the same way. The only giveaway about this song that it's a more modern song is that it's got a 5-flat key signature. Right? That's kind of a gospel key signature, not much of a gold. Okay, I'm about to give you a key. Do, so, mi, do. signature could be confused for a New England fugue tune? What's the one thing that's a little unusual about this song?
The part order.
The part order, right? And when the basses normally come in first, and in this song they actually come in last, right? And again, since I want to just emphasize areas of craftsmanship that Parris really shows us how to be a good composer. How many people in this room have tried to get writing shape-up music? A few. All of you, I imagine, are familiar with that tension of wanting to not just write a song that's already been written, but also not wanting to write a song that does not sound like it belongs in this tradition. That's a very difficult circle to square, and all of the people who've written music that ends up in this book have found some way to solve it, and it's solved in different times and places in different ways. But Parris shows us something kind of important here, which is that he has done something unusual, which is that the fugue comes in an unusual way. And in particular, the basses come in last. So that moment where they provide the harmonic foundation, which we're used to hearing from the beginning of the fugue, only comes in right at the very end of those entries. So that's a very unusual thing. The key signature is also a little bit unusual, but that doesn't affect the sound of the music at all. Everything else, though, is straight out of the New England Fugue Tune playbook. And that's Parris' secret. When he's going to do something unusual, he's going to do one thing that's unusual, it may be a kind of structural thing, but everything else around it is pretty traditional. And that's what keeps his music from kind of stylistically going off the rails. But also, it's the thing that makes every one of those tunes interesting, because it has that one thing that's pretty cool. In this one, it's just the order of the fugue entries makes important difference. Looking down the rest of this list, who has a favorite song that's in this fugue tune category that they'd like to read for us?
I like 362.
Okay. 62? 362. 362. Let's sing it. I know, I hope the pieces are all right. Yeah. I found one error at the coffee shop as I was about to figure that. So there's probably some more error. 362. Do, mi, so. Right before the last phrase. I don't know any other when the lower three parts are all singing mostly empty notes, the longer notes. I don't know any other moment in the song that sounds quite like that, but almost all the other moments of the song sound like other moments. Onwards. So I was just kind of, after spontaneously saying that it's that moment that seems like the moment in this song that's a little bit unusual, I was just wondering why that is. I think I know the answer. The altos have that big, loud fa in the middle of that, right? That's what I hear as the unusual moment. is that the only fa in this piece? No.
More or less, basically.
Yeah, so there are a few other fas, but most of them are eighth notes, and most of them are eighth notes on offbeats. The ones that are quarter notes on off quarter note beats. And this is a big, fat half note that happens right on a strong beat. So, again, in a nutshell, this is what his technique is all about. Right? He's kind of almost building the song around this one moment. It's unusual in its context, but it's not totally out of the blue. It's set up very subtly in these other moments, but out of the way places that you just kind of hear these fas but don't notice them. And then right in the middle of that is a big fat fa that you really do notice. And again, that's really the only thing about the song that Parris wrote to be kind of sticking out. Leslie?
It says, viewed with two sets of entries. Is the second set down here on the last line?
The second one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam, could you actually, since you've just had this in your body, can you just walk us through the kind of choreography of the entries here? Right? So let's make sure we know where we are.
and then the altos come back and you sing the to the lamb thing and then the basses again.
Right.
And
So then the basses come in with a light to shine.
a light to shine.
Then the tenors and altos.
Yeah, but that's
Right. Right.
The thing that actually is most immediately striking to me about this song is that the basses, tenors and trebles mirror each other at the end of the fuguing line, which is something you hear occasionally, but not all that often, where you have to the left and then to the left and go to the top parts. So they end the same or similarly in addition to starting with.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, in the Sacred Harp in particular, you don't find this too much in this book. There is a thing in fuguing tunes. There's a tradition of fuguing tunes in this position, sort of at the end of the little theme that you've heard, but in the middle of all of the fuguing chaos. You will hear all of the parts pass around this one particular figure. Carol, you're nodding vigorously. What is the figure?
Well, I was nodding vigorously because we talk about it like thunder and lightning.
Oh, yeah. Right? Thunder and lightning is this kind of general idea in shape note style of something just kind of being passed around from part to part. And that's, thank you for pointing that out. That's a thing that you have here, but it's a different figure than the one we're used to seeing in that position. Any other fuguing tunes you want to sing from that stack?
I would sing 7/4.
Great. Let's sing it. It's minor.
Oh, I have a feeling this.
What's
74. The thing that I would like the basses and altos to think about while they're singing this song is how much they're tied together all the way through that fugue. Right? The song Melancholy Day, which we sing often in the Sacred Harp, has this exact same property. The basses and altos are just locked together in the middle of this fugal chart. No, it's great. It's just a little, it's unusual.
Any more?
Go. anybody has one last song in this category they'd like to lead. As I said, these were a kind of song that Parris only applied himself to writing later in his life, in the 50s, as these various Christian harmony projects were being contemplated. Right? And I talked about what seems likely to me that Parris is looking back into the history of the tradition and trying to write some new tunes in that tradition. By contrast, we have, does anybody want to leave one last tune before we go to gospel choruses? By contrast, right, the other major genre that Parris worked in was what I'm calling the gospel chorus. What distinguishes a gospel chorus, I think, from other types of tunes is specifically the existence of what we probably colloquially call chorus, what music theorists tend to call a refrain. Literary scholars also call it a refrain. And what a refrain is something that happens in every verse. The verses may change, but the refrain is the same. Musically, in our tradition, what that usually amounts to is you have the first half or so of the music has changing words with every verse, and then there is a part with the same words every time. That's the second half of the song. That's what we might call a chorus or a refrain. And nearly all of the songs that are on this list have that property. So it is not only do they sound gospel-y, whatever we mean by that, but they also have this kind of structural makeup with the repeating chorus that is an essential part of gospel music of all kinds. So let's start with the very top song in that category. The plain gospel choruses. We've got 5 of them on the sheet. 149 is the one I'd like to start with. Does anybody want to lead it?
I'll leave it.
Beautiful. Give a cue too.
Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Oh, 149?
149.
I'm not even paying attention. Sorry, go ahead.
You know what you just agreed with?
I have a sheet in front of me. Okay, 149.
149. So before we hear the key, let me just point everyone to the fact that this tune has a DS in it that tells you to go back to the dead spider. Towards the end of the first line, DS stands for. And that tells us kind of something important about the structure of this song. So the refrain starts, "There's a good time coming by and by," at the bottom. But then it wraps around, and the last phrase of the refrain is set to the last phrase of the verse's music, right? So we get this kind of extra fast repetition of that particular chunk of music over top of the refrain. Did anybody understand anything?
Yes.
Laura.
Great. 149. Do, mi, sol.
Why? What makes it sound gospel-y?
1, 4, 1.
Show me the 4 words.
Oh, well, like most dramatically here, where it just waffles. At the very end, that's the gospel.
So at that very end of the first system, we we have kind of everybody either sitting on the same note for those 3 notes, or the interior parts kind of move up a step and down a step. That's a very kind of gospel-y thing to do. The bass never goes to 4, which is something the bass is gospel with that, actually.
Go ahead.
The little thing down here where we go by and by.
Oh, perfect! I was hoping somebody would notice that, right? This is like, who was asking about peekaboo? This is the proto-nucleus of peekaboo song. Just that moment where I think it's the outer parts sing by and by, and then the inner parts go by and by again. And that serves the function of both having a kind of pause in between phrases, but also the rhythmic energy keeps on going, right? Because you've got those other parts filling in those notes. If you open up any upright gospel book, they all do this. And if they don't have it for the voices, they'll have it in little notes telling the pianist to fill it in. Right? So one of the characteristics of gospel music is this kind of motoric rhythm that just never stops. And even when the phrase stops, you gotta have some of the backup singers.
So I was gonna point that out, and there, it only does it in one place, but there are several other places in the tune where you could do that, you know? And it's like, I was expecting to hear the basses.
I got the impulse which I resisted.
So what do basses do when they feel that impulse in a gospel song sometimes, right? They'll just fill it in right in.
Yeah.
That's what we do with cleansing fountain. Right? It's written as a long note, but the gospel impulse is telling us you gotta have notes there. And so we add them in. What else is up here in this plain gospel chorus? So by plain, what I mean is that you don't have the parts coming in and out a lot. And for the most part, with the one exception that we just talked about, this tiny little exception, all the parts are singing more or less the same rhythm
Ooh.
at the same time. Yes?
Is it? I heard that it makes it a gospel song if the altos end the second phrase on the reggae.
Really?
Yeah, right? Yeah,
That's how you know it's a gospel song?
I thought, or maybe it's I don't know.
I think if it's a C,
It's
then
a
for
C.
sure it's a
Oh, yeah,
gospel
yeah,
song.
yeah.
Right? That's
It's
what
a
we
C,
saw in
okay.
the first ones.
Not
Yeah.
all right, sorry.
But I think somebody else took the C.
It's
In the song,
portions
if the
of
trebles
the
have
D,
it,
so you're right,
right?
it's
So we
C.
still have it. We
Yeah,
still have the
okay,
notes to
sorry,
make it sound
I forgot
gospel.
about that, yeah.
And then finally, the existence of the refrain, and particularly having the refrain set up so that the first half of the refrain is new, kind of characteristic material that you remember. It's the hook of the song, after all. But the second half of the refrain is not a hook. It is not characteristic. It's background. It's music that we have already heard before a number of times. That's what the Dead Spider does for you. It lets you have the new stuff at the back of the notation, and then the Dead Spider just says, this is music you've sung before, it just has new words in it. Again, open up any convention book, any gospel book, you will see DS's all over the place doing that same thing. That's another one of the things that makes this song gospel-y.
what does DS mean besides Dead
It stands for dal segno, which means go to the sign, and that squiggle is the sign.
This side.
I think it's more fun to say. Well, and to be perfectly honest, since most musical notations are in Italian for complicated historical reasons, with that DS telling you to go back there, at the end of the notation before the refrain, where we said there's a good time coming by and by, and it says fine up the top, right? The singing school joke has always been, well, and that's how you know it's fine. So you know that's not a shot. Of course, that also means fine, which means this is the end in Italian. Okay, let's sing. Laura, what was the song you wanted to sing?
I think I wanted to sing 161, that's what I thought I was singing. Or 131.
131. Okay, we'll come back to that, and I'll remember to have you lead that. Michael Walker,
Yes.
can I ask you to sing 305 for us? I know you like this song. So this is a little bit unusual because I'm making the claim that this is in a category of gospel choruses. I think this is a little bit of a stretch. For one thing, minor gospel songs are very rare and unusual. But this song does have a couple of gospel-y characteristics nonetheless. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I want you to sing it and then tell me what they are after you're done singing it.
La, do,
2.
Just a few more heavy marches, and my troubles will be o'er. I shall lay aside my armor and go home forevermore. I am waiting, only waiting, with the battle and the strife, hoping when the warfare's over to receive the crown of life.
So I wanted you to sing a second verse simply so that we could have the experience of singing the refrain, right? And the experience of singing the refrain is the experience of singing words again that you have sung earlier in the song. It is one of the central experiences of singing a gospel chorus, which is one of the reasons that this gets categorized for me to do that. What are other gospel-y features of this? I can only think of one personally.
The accidental.
Yeah, the accidentals, right? So we have those kind of like fun, kind of sleazy barbershop chords in there that again we associate with gospel music. You don't hear them a lot in minor gospel music because there isn't a lot of minor gospel music. But you know, if Parris is setting himself a challenge of I want the one unusual thing about this song to be that it's minor, and I'm going to make everything else like a normal gospel song, that's the way to do it.
There's also the entire harmonic plan of it is not something that you would see in Spanish harmony, where you have 1 to 5 in the minor and then 1 to 5 in the relative major, which is a very, very tonal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then it kind of distorts the funky way by taking you immediately back to E without really modulating. But that first half is very functional.
Right, so there's a kind of the harmonic
It's very functional.
is gospel in a way that is not limited to the
Yes,
accent.
and it's not more than
There a real funky chord in it. Right, I mean, it's got a lot of those, but
Yeah.
especially odd one on home on the first verse towards the end of the top right. I have to think really hard.
Sorry, which chord is that?
Home, to go home.
First beat, last full measure, first phrase.
The bass is against the treble, 4/7.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the peekaboo section. Because I think I want to sing the last 7 songs. We don't have time to sing them all, but we'll sing some of them. Let's look at 131. Laura, can you lead the song?
I will.
Okay, so let me explicate the concept of the peekaboo song. So this song, if you look at the tenor part in the second half, it cuts out twice. Right? So we have this little cutout that kind of creates a window into the rest of the parts. Tenors, I know how much you love to sing some other part during that moment, but let me just ask you, just this once, and maybe at the time that you still in class, when you have a rest, as we sing all these peekaboo songs, when you have a rest, do what you're told, right? Rest. Don't sing another part, because there is an effect here. What the point of those cutouts is to lighten the texture by having the people with the strongest voices sitting in the front of the room stop singing for a minute. So that does not mean please go sing the treble part now. It means let's lighten the texture, take a break, have a sip of water, what have you. And then I'll have a chance to yell at all the other parts in exactly that same way when we get to more complicated songs. Go for it.
Do, mi, sa.
So
Isn't that a nice experience? in the surround sound environment that we like to make together, it's really kind of cool to hear the sound kind of disappear from that one place and then suddenly reappear. You don't get that if you're singing another part. I'm, by the way, as guilty as singing through the rest of anybody else. Let's move on to number 43. So this is the next one in the Peekaboo song. Yes, Leslie? Great, I love it. So this song has the peekaboos in the same part of the song, that is the gospel chorus, that refrain that we're singing over and over again. But this time, it's a little bit more of a dramatic effect. Instead of just the tenors dropping out, it's the tenors and basses, I admonish you to stop listening to that one.
And it's why I like to lead it, because when you're in the alto, you don't get your little peekaboos.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So, do, mi, so. So this song, by the way, might be misclassified in the gospel chorus category because it does not actually have a refrain. It has a chorus, that is, it has that second section with the cutouts in it, but the words are different each time. And that's partially because Parris kind of assembled this text from 3 different hymn writers all at once. Let's not sing the last Peekaboo song. Let us cast our eyes upon it on page 166. What can I do? You can skip it. So this song is not as obviously a Peekaboo song from just looking at it at first, right? There aren't rests in the same part. That's because what we see in this song, in the refrain, are little duets formed of different combinations of the parts. And that is the unusual thing about this song, right? That's the kind of structural hook of this song, is that if you're going to try to lead it in a way that makes those cutouts happen, you're going to have to draw some diagrams and find it out, because it's really hard to do. So we won't sing it now to give us time to sing the other songs. So we have saved, of course, for last, the big 4. Right? And these are the ones that I've called the fuguing gospel choruses, because these take all of the elements that we've seen in plain gospel choruses and these Peekaboo songs, and just brings it up to the next level. These songs have refrains, they have the same words every time, they have a kind of harmonic vocabulary that we've been talking about just a little bit, but their refrains, their gospel choruses, are all just majestically complicated. They're not necessarily orthodox fugues, but what you have is different hearts singing different rhythms at the same time. And these 4 songs, although they all have this structural property in common, could not be more different. I'm going to just propose that we sing them through in this order, 320, 168, 182, and whatever the other one is. That's going to take us a little bit over time, so if when 3 o'clock the bell rings you want to go eat some watermelon, I totally understand. But if you want to sing all 4 of these great Wildacres songs, I totally understand that too. Who's going to sing Longing for the Day, 320?
I'll sing it.
Thank you, Hayden. Don't sound so sad.
Do, mi, so, mi,
sing that song all that much. Not nearly as much as the other three that are in this category. So maybe I should call it the big 3 plus 1. All right, Sunrise. I'm going to lead this one. 168. On the bottom. 168. Okay, so the song that we just sang is a fuguing tune in the Orthodox sense that the parts come in one at a time. This song is not, but I still think it's fair to call it fuguing because it still has a churning rhythm aspect. Do, mi, so. I wanted to call your attention to that moment. You can tell us a little bit about the history of this moment, right? That moment, si la so fa mi re do, was not in the book before, right? That was not how Parris wrote this song. How did that come about? You stuck it in.
That's something they did, and all the bases did it, and it sounded good, and everybody agreed that it should be there.
So, according to Cassie, this was Harrison Creel's thing. I'm sure there are other people who will tell you other things. But the fact is that, remember before we were talking about how one of the things that's characteristic of gospel is that when you have pauses in the song, they tend to be filled in. This is a perfect example of that. This was a note that some singer decided to fill in with a little lick. That lick got kind of passed around and traded off between different people. More people started singing it. And eventually, by magic, it just appeared in the book. The singing was so strong that the ink just rearranged itself on the page. Let's sing it on the words. Let's first verse. Do.
I'm weary of the pain, the bitter cold and rain, that beat me on this troubled shore. I long to sail away to Rapture and to stay, where sun will rise and set, will rise and set no more. Oh, what a happy day! My tears will wash away. I'll be my friends from now on before. To sing my Savior's praise, till every happy day, where sun will rise and set no more. What a happy day! My tears will wash away. I'll be my friends from now on before. To sing my Savior's praise, till every happy day, where sun will rise and set no more.
All right, surely somebody has thought, I would like to lead either a happy meeting or the Grand Highway. Who's going to lead a happy meeting? Keeler. And then everybody's going to lead the Grand Highway. Are you going to key it to you, Keeler?
Looks like it. No.
Slow
So that takes us to the summa of it all, right? The Grand Highway is Parris's big hit. This was a tune that he first wrote for a tune book that he published himself, one of those. I can't remember what it's called. It was like Happy Songs 2, something Songs 2. Sorry? Oh, I thought somebody. And then it appeared in the Christian Harmony, and now it appears all over the place, right? It's in a lot of different convention books. If you look on the internet, you will find all sorts of people who we don't know singing this song. That tells us something, right? That means he's actually famous. And this song pretty much has almost every feature that we have talked about so far in it. It's got a refrain, it is fuguey, it has all sorts of little cutouts and solos and duets, and it is probably the most fun song to sing for all of the parts in this book. I mean, every single one of these parts is just a joy to sing. Who's going to lead for us? Does anybody who has not had a chance to lead yet want to lead this song? All right. Go ahead, John. Well, that's it. We've sung through almost every O.A. Parris song in the book, which is pretty impressive. I think this would not be impressive. Sing them all. I want to thank all of the people who led today on absolutely no notice. I want to thank all of you for singing this music so well. And let's go to the